Just pulled it right back out again. Sometimes those Bargello tucks aren't as secure as I should make them. Probably didn't take enough of a tuck there at the back. There we go. That's better. Ready to go. So as you can see, I've made a little bit of progress on my modern folk embroidery mystery sal from last week. Really wishing I had more time. I think that is a constant lament from crafters, especially crafters who work on multiple types of craft and also multiple works in progress at the same time. There just isn't enough time in the day to work on everything that we want to work on. I've had a fairly productive week craft-wise. I did quite a bit of knitting as well as stitching. So even though we had Easter weekend in there last weekend and lots of family time and a little bit of feeling under the weather, a lot of work during the week that needed to get done. Still have quite a bit of unfinished Evertote work, sewing and packaging up of orders that needs to happen this weekend. So it is going to be a full weekend. Hopefully I will make some time in there to stitch as well. But that is one of the really nice things about recording these videos to share with my stitching with you, is that I actually make, half hour, 45 minutes of progress on my whip. So it's really nice that I've sort of scheduled that in, and I appreciate everybody who stitches along with me. We recorded a Fiber Friends episode this morning. I meant to record this Stitch With Me video last night, but by the time I finished up the other work that I had, it was quite late and I wanted to spend some time with the kids. So we did that instead, and I think the big mistake, it's not a mistake, but if there are things that I want to get done, if I crawl into bed with a project, which is my favorite place to stitch or knit, and it's sort of later at night, I do start to feel a bit sleepy, and then I never ever get back up. So I think that's just a good rule of thumb for me, to not climb into bed with a project until I am completely done for the day. But so I knew today was going to be a little tight time-wise because we were recording the knitting podcast earlier in the day than we sometimes do. So I knew I wouldn't have time to record it before leaving. And sometimes when I record in the afternoon like I'm doing now, it's a bit of a race to get my video up by 6 p.m., which, I know no one would mind if it went up later, but it's sort of just a thing I like to do for myself so that it's up and I can, usually relax a bit and stitch a bit with you guys in my own stitch in from 6 till midnight. 6 till midnight. How awesome is that? Taking that huge stretch of time. It's like having your own stitching retreat in your home with your own chair and your own snacks. I find that the older I get, the less I like going out. I like to be at home. I like to watch movies at home. I like to hang out with my family at home. I am such a homebody. We had more snow overnight. This was actually quite funny. My son, Nicholas, he likes to get up a few hours before school. And if he's not awake by a certain time, he likes to be woken up so that he can have that bit of time in the morning to play before he has to get ready to go to school. So I woke him up this morning and he came into my bedroom and he was just in a foul mood. and he said, "Do I have to go to school today?" And I said, "Well, yes, you have to go to school today. Are you feeling okay?" And he said, "It's snowing outside." And then, on the verge of tears, he proceeded to tell me how much he hated having to go to school when there was snow on the ground and he had to wear a snowsuit, and how long it took him to put the clothes on, and how there's so little room to get ready and everybody's all crowded around. By the time they all get their clothes on and they go outside, they've only got 10 minutes outside. Then they have to all come back inside and take all their clothes off, and the floor is wet and his socks get wet, and on and on and on. And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, buddy, winter's almost over. You have to go to school." And he looked at me and he just had this look on his face and he said, "It feels like it's been winter for my whole life." And then he stomped out of the room and got dressed. And then he came back and crawled into bed and sat there with his arms across his chest and had a good sulk for a few minutes about the fact that it was snowing outside. And so I thought that I would share that with you so that you would know that I'm probably the only one in my family, other than the dog, who is excited that it's still snowing. The rest of the family has had enough. Oh, geez. So I've been at Thread and I a few times over the last week, picking up a few things in their sale, picking up a few extra things that were left over. I did not go in on Tuesday because that was the first day of their sale and I knew it would be complete chaos in there. So I waited and I went in yesterday for the first time. And when I walked in, it was a very, very strange feeling, because I'm going to say that at least half of the shop sold on the Tuesday. And the shop models are up for sale. The everything is for sale. And to walk in, and a shop that I know so well, that I've been, it's been almost home away from home for the last 17 years, even though they've changed locations a few times. The way they set things up and just the feel of the store has been the same. That has remained constant. And to see it so empty and echoey, and I'm not going to lie, I may have had a moment. There may have been a moment where I felt like I might have gotten a little choked up because it really felt very, very final and sad. But like I said before, I'm just thrilled for them, for Kathy and Neil. Well-deserved retirement. And I'm probably a little jealous as well because I think they're going to have a fair bit more time to stitch. And if anyone has projects that have been waiting in the wings, it's those two. So I can't wait to see what kind of stitching that they're going to get up to in the years ahead. That's going to be kind of exciting because I suspect that there's a bit of treasure trove at home at their house that they're now finally going to have the time to work on and enjoy and love. So yes, I've bought, I've purchased a few more pieces of fabric in colors and counts that I love, that I know I will put to good use. I have bought some threads, sort of bolstering up the supply, and I think I bought another set of scroll rods for my floor frame, a slightly shorter set this time. Sorry, had a little bit of a noise downstairs. The dog, I think, knocked something over. I just had to go and check. So, put a few more stitches in the top row here. Okay, I'm almost out of floss. Silk. This silk is so, so beautiful. Such a rich shade of blue. All right, let's sew that end in. So anyways, as I was saying, it was a little bit sad in the shop, but happy all the same that the sale is going just so very well for Kathy and Neil. So that for them is awesome. Okay. I think maybe I'll attempt another triangle. Now, you may recall from my stitch with me a few weeks ago, this was the triangle that I had great difficulty with. So what are we at here? One down. And maybe what I'll do is I'll go up the other side. Okay, that's a good idea. No, it's hard to decide. You know what? I'm just going to pause you for a minute and I'm going to go and check my pattern, because if I'm right, I'm pretty positive this band just continues all the way across the top. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to go check the pattern. So the dog finally woke up and has heard me up here talking to you guys. So if you can hear her, she struggles with the stairs. There she is. Hello, sweet pea. So she'll settle down in a minute, I'm sure. All right, so let's just have a peek. Modern Folk Embroidery Mystery Sal. Where's my pattern? Where's my pattern? Obviously, just want to have a quick, yes, that band, it does. I thought maybe the part 2, I knew there was, I knew that there was a part that went down and back up again in the middle section here, but I wasn't sure if this band continued all the way across or whether there was something that went in and up. So, but it looks like that band goes all the way across. So let's carry on here. So Perhaps, Daria, maybe you could lie down. What do you think? Can you lie down? You're giving me the eyeball. I see you. I think she'll lie down in a minute. There we go. She's funny. She's quite deaf now. And she sleeps very, very, very soundly. So if she wakes up and notices that I'm gone, she will usually travel the house until she finds me. And just now when I went downstairs to get my pattern, I think I woke her up. So she followed me back up here. There have been a lot of really great floss tube episodes out lately. Been enjoying watching and seeing everybody's progress on their beautiful works in progress. I know I've been watching Letitia stitch her twisted band sampler, the Northern Expressions Needleworks twisted band sampler. And I believe that Tracy P, I think that they had sort of coordinated together. They were both working on that, maybe as an informal sal. And Tracy P finished hers and did a lovely video on where she described each band that she had stitched and the different type of specialty stitch that was in it. And I found that really interesting to watch and look at her color conversion. And it's such a beautiful piece. I'm not a specialty stitch. It's not that I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of doing them. So I love the way they look. But doing them, I'm not that patient. It's not that I'm not that patient, because I mean, look at some of the other things that I do and you think, oh, you'd have to be crazy to do that. But I don't know what it is about specialty stitches. I think I'd rather just put a little X. So I am actually doing a version of the twisted band sampler, which I haven't touched in a few months, and mine is the cross stitch version. And it's all in purples, bright, bright purples, and it's beautiful. I should pull it out and work on it. So it really is time to start working through the stash pile. These whips are not going to finish themselves. Loving this fabric. This is a 40 count R&R Reproductions in the colorway Patriots Brew. And at the time when I purchased it, I purchased a whole yard of it. So you can believe that you will be seeing this fabric again. Make its appearance again. I would love to do the modern folk embroideries. The Christmas, I bought the Christmas, oh, this was last year, at least last year, maybe even the year before, that I bought. There's a Christmas mini pack that Jakob offers on modernfolkembroidery.com. And it's 4 Christmas patterns that he has packaged together. And I purchased that, I'm going to say, at least a year and a half ago. And I think that this fabric with the right sort of crimson silk would be stunning. Just stunning. Just a beautiful linen. We really are spoiled, aren't we? We are spoiled for choice, spoiled for material, because it really doesn't matter what you like to stitch on, be it 40 count linen or 28 count even weave or 14 count Aida, whatever it is that you love to stitch on, we can usually find it somewhere. We can find someone to take our money. So Tracy P put out her video of the Twisted Band Sampler, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed watching Ingeborg's update. Her video is A Stitch Too Far, and I think that was just a few days ago that she put her latest video out. Michelle Bendy Stitchy, just watched her latest Stitch with Me from last Sunday. And I saw that, I haven't watched it yet, but I've been looking forward to it. Emily, Eclectic Possessions, put out her very first Stitch with Me either last weekend or during the week last week. And that is definitely in my to watch pile. I like listening to Emily. Also Brian's channel Blitz Stitch, he put out a video that is in my queue to watch about starting a project. I think he starts a woodland duck, I believe. So that's on my list to watch. And also, I am a few episodes behind on Ginger Gerald. So I would like to watch his latest floss tube update that he put out on Wednesday. Now, I know all about what he's going to be talking about on that video because I saw some sneak peeks of it. And in case you're wondering, Ginger Gerald has a new design out, a new pattern, and it is an old-fashioned windmill. And it's really, really neat. And he did this wonderful sort of pillow finish where, he did two versions of it. So one is sort of on a blue background. And the other one is sand colored, sandy, browny gold color. And I just think they're just a lovely little piece of, an ornament in your home that's, year round. So anyways, I might just be getting a copy of that pattern for myself. Am I still in the frame? Look at that. I'm almost stitching right out of the camera view there. Just when I get to the edge, I'm probably going to be out of floss anyways, so we'll see how it goes. I showed you, I did that little mini floss tube update on Wednesday, and I showed you the chalk design that I finished. I finished March's design. It says, "May luck be with you." I think that's why I always call it the May design, but it's not. It is the March because it is about St. Patrick's Day. And that was nice to get that one finished up. I would like to put a few more stitches into my Eileen Gurak design, the little boy, the silhouette. It is, I did quite a bit of work on the border over the last few days. So that is coming along nicely. Hope to have that finished up before too much longer. And Shades of Blue is coming back out. I think maybe on Sunday. Something also very special that I've had in my stash for quite a while that I've sort of been sitting on is I've shown you my William Morris tapestry piece that I've done, the orange tree with the birds in it. Well, a few years ago, Kathy and Neil had a customer who passed away, and her husband brought into the shop some tapestries, Beth Russell tapestries, that the woman had purchased, and she had started one of them and had never finished them, and there were 3 of them, and they have the complete, it's a printed canvas, whereas the one that I did with the orange tree was not a printed canvas. It was just the Penelope canvas, and I did the counting on it, kind of like you would do a cross-stitch piece. So these other tapestries it's a printed canvas, and it has the picture on it. It's a William Morris inspired design. It comes with all of the wool, the tapestry wool, and it's the proper, British, I believe it's called Appleton Crewel wool, if I'm not mistaken. There are 3 of these tapestries, and I purchased them from the store because the husband brought them in, and he said, my wife had started one of these, and I don't know what else to do with them. Will your shop take them? And so I purchased them from the shop at the time. And so I have this one that was started by this woman, and I wish I knew who it was. I don't know who it was. I don't think Kathy and Neil ever told me who it was. I should ask them, because I'd really like to know who the woman was who started it, because these tapestries are just absolutely stunning. So I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to take them out on Sunday, and I'm going to pull out the one that the woman started, and I'm going to show you guys that on Monday's episode, because I think it's time. You know what? I might have even had them for 3 years now. It's been at least 2 years, if not 3. And they're stunning. And now, obviously, because of course I bought them secondhand, and I bought them, already started, I did get quite a good deal on the purchase of these kits. They are not inexpensive to buy new. So I feel very, very fortunate that I had the opportunity to buy these when I did. But having them sitting in my closet, I think, does them a great disservice, because they're worthy of being worked on and loved. And I know that this woman would have, just treasured them. So let me just see what I'm doing here. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Whoops. I keep knocking I'm very sorry about that. So please forgive the little bit of, I'm gonna just move my light there. I think that's a bit better. The camera is shaking, I apologize. But I know that you're all working on your stitching anyways, so stitch away. They are just beautiful, beautiful scenery pictures. They are slightly smaller than the orange tree tapestry that I did. The fabric count is smaller, but the wool is also slightly thinner. So the stitch itself on the fabric is smaller. So the design is probably the same number of stitches like the large scale one that I did. And there are 3 of them. So I do get myself into these large scale projects, don't I? I'm just so drawn to... Oh, that's the wrong spot there. Shoot. I don't think that's going to fix it. Hang on, I'm going to have to take that out. There. If a project has a ton of work to it, then I'm usually drawn to it, which is what surprises me that I haven't finished a Heaven and Earth design yet. I've started one. I think I've told you that before, but I'm not sure I will ever finish that one. It's a bit too small, and the coverage being so that it's so close together. I think I would probably prefer stitching it if the fabric was larger. If I was doing it on, say, a 32 count, 2/2, that's probably what I would like, sort of a full coverage piece, or a 40 count, 1/2. But then I think you're not going to get the coverage that you would want. I just think I didn't maybe pick the best fabric for it when I started. And that's probably what sort of turned me off. I know Adrienne has done a lot of Heaven and Earth work, and she has a few more kitted up in her stash. So maybe I'll have a peek at what kind of fabric she's got. And maybe I'll restart my Heaven and Earth. The one that I chose was Big Bear Falls, and it's an oval design. And it is an absolutely stunning bit of scenery, and it would be absolutely spectacular. But there's only so much time in the day, right? And there are too many things that I want to do. So I think it's time to find a bit of focus. I know Sylvia on the Facebook group is trying a new, not a rotation per se, but a new sort of method of working through her whips. And I'll see if I can get it right, what she's doing. She's working on one project throughout the week, and then she's using Friday to work on her high tea, her Sunday high tea piece. So the Friday Stitch With Me video is the high tea piece. And then I think Saturday is another piece that she's stitching as a gift. And Sunday is, what was Sunday? It was another large scale project. And then it just sounded like a great way to, keep your interest alive in more than one project, but still stay fairly monogamous to a work until it was, until it had a substantial bit of stitches put into it. So Sylvia, I hope that it's going well for you. There we go. All right, folks, I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking that I better get a move on so that I can get this video uploaded in enough time for the stitch in tonight. And also, my children will be home soon from school, and I know Sarah is doing a lifeguarding course this weekend, so I'm not going to get to see her a lot this weekend. So I'd like to spend, an hour or so with her before she takes off for the night. So I'm going to leave you there. Sorry for all the little breaks in today. Had a few interruptions today, but I'm hoping that I kept you company while you put in a few stitches. I'm really excited to take those tapestries out of my closet and have a really good look at them again. It's been a while, and, sort through the wool and see what kind of state that one is in that the lady started. And I think maybe make some plans to get that on my frame. So I think I'm going to need to find a pair of stretcher bars and attach it, and just have one pair of bars that are dedicated just for that canvas. And then maybe make a plan for how to start putting some stitches in it. Anyways, I'm going to show you that on Monday. I think that's going to help get me excited about it and wanting to work on it. All right, let's just get to the bottom here. 2 more stitches. All right, so this has been 3 Stitch With Me episodes on my modern folk embroidery. And next week I will be moving on to something else. I'm not quite sure what it is. Maybe it'll be a canvas piece. It'll be a surprise. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. Fingers crossed, hope to get a couple of knitting tutorials out this weekend. If they don't happen, it's because things went sideways with other work that I have to do. But really, that is my plan. At least one on the make one increase. That, I think, at least I really should try to get out there. So have a great weekend, you guys. Thanks for keeping me company. And I will see you this weekend on the Facebook group. I love seeing everybody's projects. And I know that you all do as well. So happy weekend. Happy stitching.